Will the United States and Israel attack Iran? This is the question on everyone's mind as tensions in the Middle East reach a boiling point. It's a complex situation with decades of history, high-stakes diplomacy, and serious military implications. In this video, we'll break down the facts, analyze the military balance, and explore what could happen next, without the hype and sensationalism. Let's start with some context. The relationship between Iran, the US, and Israel has been strained for over 40 years, ever since the 1979 Iranian Revolution. The core of the conflict revolves around Iran's nuclear program. Iran insists its program is for peaceful energy purposes, but the US and Israel fear it's a cover for developing nuclear weapons. This fear led to the 2015 nuclear deal, known as the JCPOA, where Iran agreed to limit its nuclear activity in exchange for sanctions relief. However, in 2018, the United States unilaterally withdrew from the deal and reimposed crippling sanctions, aiming to pressure Iran back to the negotiating table for a tougher agreement. Since then, Iran has responded by gradually increasing its uranium enrichment, moving closer to the levels needed for a weapon. This tit-for-tat escalation has created a highly volatile environment. So, where are we now? The current situation is a powder keg. We've seen a series of escalatory events, from attacks on oil tankers in the Persian Gulf to drone strikes on oil facilities, and the assassination of key Iranian figures. Iran has also strengthened its network of proxy forces across the region, including Hezbollah in Lebanon and the Houthis in Yemen. These groups give Iran the ability to project power and retaliate against its adversaries without engaging in direct conventional warfare. This strategy, often called asymmetric warfare, allows Iran to challenge the military superiority of the US and Israel through unconventional means, raising the risk of a wider regional conflict that could be triggered by a single miscalculation from any side. Now, let's talk military power. On paper, the United States and Israel have a massive technological and conventional advantage over Iran. The US military is the most powerful in the world, with advanced fighter jets, a formidable navy, and a vast network of bases in the region. Israel's defense forces are also among the most capable and technologically advanced militaries globally, with a powerful air force. Sophisticated missile defense systems like the Iron Dome and David's Sling, and rumored, though officially unconfirmed, nuclear capabilities of its own. However, a direct military strike on Iran would be anything but simple. Iran is a large, mountainous country with a population of over 85 million people. Its nuclear facilities are numerous, dispersed, and in some cases, buried deep underground in hardened bunkers, making them incredibly difficult to destroy completely in a single wave of attacks. A sustained air campaign would be required, carrying enormous risks. Furthermore, Iran has its own significant military capabilities. While its air force is outdated, it has developed a formidable arsenal of ballistic missiles and armed drones. These weapons can reach targets across the Middle East, including US military bases and major Israeli cities. Iran also holds a critical strategic card, the Strait of Hormuz. About a fifth of the world's oil supply passes through this narrow waterway. Iran could attempt to mine or blockade the strait, which would cause global oil prices to skyrocket and trigger a severe economic crisis. This threat of retaliation is a powerful deterrent against a military strike. What do the experts think? There's no consensus, but most military analysts and foreign policy experts agree that a war with Iran would be catastrophic. Many in Washington and Tel Aviv believe that a nuclear-armed Iran is an unacceptable existential threat that must be prevented at all costs, even if it means using military force as a last resort. They argue that containment and deterrence have failed, and that time is running out. This perspective is often driven by the belief that a preemptive strike, however risky, is preferable to facing a nuclear Iran. On the other side, many experts warn that a military attack would be a strategic blunder. They argue it would likely fail to destroy Iran's nuclear program entirely and would instead drive it underground, making it even harder to monitor. A war would almost certainly unify the Iranian people behind their government, rally international support for Tehran, and trigger a devastating, region-wide conflict that could last for years, with immense human and economic costs. These experts advocate for a return to diplomacy, believing that a revised and strengthened nuclear agreement is the only viable path to a peaceful resolution. They point out that sanctions and military threats have so far only pushed Iran to accelerate its nuclear activities. So what could actually trigger a war? There are several potential flashpoints. A direct, state-sponsored attack by Iran or its proxies on US or Israeli civilians or critical infrastructure could be a clear red line. Another trigger could be intelligence confirming that Iran is actively building a nuclear bomb, the breakout moment. If Israel felt its existence was genuinely threatened and that the US would not act, it might decide to launch a unilateral strike, potentially dragging the United States into the conflict. Finally, a simple miscalculation, an accidental clash between naval ships in the Persian Gulf or a drone incident that spirals out of control, could ignite a war that nobody initially wanted. The high state of alert on all sides makes such an accident a constant danger. In conclusion, the question of whether the US and Israel will attack Iran doesn't have a simple yes or no answer. The situation is a complex chess match with incredibly high stakes. While the military superiority of the US and Israel is clear, the potential costs of a war are staggering for everyone involved and for the global economy. Iran's ability to retaliate through its missiles, drones, and control over the Strait of Hormuz acts as a significant deterrent. At this moment, it seems that all sides prefer to avoid a direct, full-scale war. The path forward will likely continue to be a tense mix of sanctions, covert operations, proxy conflicts, and fragile diplomatic efforts. But the risk of miscalculation remains dangerously high. The world is watching, hoping that diplomacy prevails over conflict. Thanks for watching. If you found this analysis helpful, please like this video, subscribe to our channel for more in-depth content, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Stay informed and stay safe.